So, Dawn, it's a pleasure to be speaking to you on Gateway 97.8 today. She's the Queen of Talk and the Daily Star columnist and legendary editor who can be seen on our screens as well. So, Dawn, pleasure to be speaking to you today, and thank you for joining Stephen and I today as well.
Good morning. Absolute pleasure to be with you on such a wonderful spring morning.
You're looking gorgeous.
So I wouldn't go that far. I'm looking slightly haggard after a 48-hour marathon of two people that have been in the press quite a bit recently. Harry and Meghan, hello, if you're watching.
So on that front there, Dawn, we're talking about change. You've gone from being one of the most admired newspaper editors to a celebrity. So how hard was it to decide to make that change there?
Oh, I wouldn't call myself a celebrity. I'm still just a tabloid journalist and always will be. It was, look, I've been in tabloid journalism, magazine journalism for 35 years now. There was a change at the newspaper that I worked for. Different owners came in, so I thought it's now or never. And I did that 3 years ago. I stepped down as editor after 15 years. And it's been amazing, Aston and Steve. I've never been happier or more excited. Every day is full of opportunity. I get to talk to lovely people every day, different people every day. And it's probably one of the best things I've ever done. I'm having so much fun.
And Aston, one of the really interesting things, when I first met Dawn, I met her in a field.
Oh, God.
Outside the English football teams. We were both waiting to see Paul Gascoigne. I was going to paint a cross on his hair, and we sat there for 2 days, didn't we?
Oh, yes, Steve, thank you for that.
Never happened.
It never happened. We literally,
lovely husband and I gelled, and we've been friends ever since.
We have, and we sat there literally doorstepping the England training camp for 2 days, hoping that Gazza would pop out and let you do his hair and me into it. What were we thinking? It didn't happen.
I wrote in my book, I've got a chapter called Waiting for Gaza.
So, Dawn, for those young people that want to get into journalism, is there any advice you'd like to give out to our younger listeners today who want to try and get into journalism here?
Yeah, I think there is. And I think today that you should never, in particular, with everything that has happened to our world over the past year with COVID and the pandemic, and youngsters, in particular people at university and schools, suffering so much. I really do feel for the younger generation today. And I think the message is you never give up your dreams. If you want to be a journalist, you can go and do that, whether it's broadcast media, print media, or even social media. And, there are so many varied ways to get into this business, especially with the advent of social media. It does make it much more accessible for people to write blogs, to put work out there. And I think that is a good thing. University degrees, they're not the be all and end all. So if you do feel that your education has suffered, you still don't stop. You still get out there. You write to the magazines and newspapers, whether they're online or reality, or the radio stations or the broadcast media that you want to work for. You just keep on. You sell yourself. And, I think it's so important now, given what youngsters have been through this year, but we encourage this generation to get out there and start living again.
Yeah, absolutely. You're so right. And I agree with you. University isn't always the answer. On-the-job training and contacts, I think, always ends up more important. Obviously, it's nice if you've got a university degree, but it's not always necessary. But listen, you've been you were an editor for years.
Yeah, and it shows.
I always used to make jokes. Are you coming out of your ivory tower? Because Dawn was in there practically 24 hours a day. I was convinced of it. But female editors get a terrible rap that are all described as Devil Wear Prada characters and always in television, the media portrayed as being, evil. But this isn't fair, is it, on women? How do you think we can go around changing this image of women in the media that are in charge?
Well, I think it is interesting that women still do get a raw deal. I mean, this is a debate that, you know, we are having around sort of like, you know, women in the royal family at the moment as well. You know, if you're a woman in power, whether it's your career or the family you happen to marry into, you do get a tougher time than the men. And while a man is ambitious and thrusting and an alpha male, a woman, the words that often describe her are hysterical, shouty, screamy, the B word often used, you know, and it's a total myth, Stephen, that other women do not support women in journalism. I have gone out of my way my entire career to try and encourage young women to come through the system, whether it's on magazines or newspapers or now where I'm lucky to work in radio and TV. I just think it's so important for women in particular to come through. Hopefully, things are changing and we will not have that differential now between how men and women are treated. But it's a very, very slow process. And all you can do as a woman yourself is chip away at those attitudes.
It was International Women's Day yesterday. And one of the things I said was it'd be nice not to have an International Women's Day because but we do have to, because in countries some women still can't vote, and when women do get into powerful positions, instantly the bitch word comes out.
Yeah.
Which we wouldn't use with a man. Oh, he's hard, he's ambitious. That's such a shame. And women like yourself in the business, you know, and I've worked for you, certainly not a bitch. And women I've worked with, I've been lucky enough to, have all been great. You know, it's all about, again, talking about it and getting the word out there.
No, absolutely. And I've been lucky enough to work with some very, very inspirational women, especially when I started out on newspapers and magazines. And, you know, they looked after me, they meant to me. And look, it's not always to say that men in this industry are sort of like are not wanting women to succeed, because I've been very, very lucky to have inspirational men that I've worked for who have encouraged me and helped me sort of like, you know, learn my craft, as it were. So, you know, there are very, very good people in this industry, and I think it's incredibly unfair, especially with a lot of the news coverage at the moment, obviously triggered by the royal debate, that the press in this country are given such a kicking all the time. I mean, you know, the people that put newspapers together are not bad people, they are people. You know, they have families, they have loved ones, they're not machines who are just out there to destroy people. That is a, you know, newspapers in particular can provide a lot of entertainment and, you know, a lot of fun for a lot of people.
I'm writing a book at the moment, and one of the sections is about journalism, and one of the things about it is supply and demand. If the public didn't want it, you wouldn't get it. And this is the thing, I think everyone blames the tabloid journalists or everything, but the people buying it want it.
This is the thing, Stephen, it's like any business, you know, if you are not supplying the right product, whether it is a toilet roll or a newspaper, and we can all do the joke about it being the same thing, but you know, no matter what your product is, if people don't want to buy it, you are going to go out of business very, very soon. So if you look at the two most successful newspapers in this country, the Daily Mail and the Sun, which are the two at the moment currently getting a huge kicking, the reason they're successful is because people buy them. So, you know, when certain people imply that newspapers in this country are inherently racist, as Prince Harry has recently, it's like, well, by the extension of that, Harry, you are implying that the British public are racist because they're the ones buying it. I don't buy any of that argument in any way, shape or form. And I just wish that we should all sort of like, you know, just step back, just calm down a bit on this one, and sort of be a little bit proud of our country.
Yeah, thank you. That's fantastic.
So on that frontier, Dawn, you're London born, and would you ever want to live anywhere else in the world? And if so, what changes have you seen in London over the years here?
Oh, blimey. I'll tell you what, Aston, I am incredibly proud of being a Londoner, and in particular being an East Londoner. So I might have mentioned it, you know, working class roots, no university, But I'm very proud of London. I think London is a brilliant city. I think it's a place where you can, a bit like they used to say of New York, you can go there and live your dreams. You can achieve and be whatever you want to be in London. It's a beautiful city. Obviously, you can travel anywhere in the world, but you come back to London and you see the history and the architecture we have here. And you never fail to go, oh, wow. So I think it's an amazing city. No, I don't think, I'm slightly sad, I think, possibly. But I live actually like 3.5 miles away from where I was born. So I've never really lived outside the area. I know, it's not very glamorous, is it, of East London. But no, I don't think I'd ever want to live anywhere else. And I think, again, what's happened to our capital city with the COVID thing at the moment is incredibly sad. And I think we all need now to concentrate on getting back to work. Kids are now back at school, thankfully. And how happy do they look? I mean, have you seen kids going to school? Kids of all ages actually look happy to be going to school.
And the parents are really happy.
Yeah, exactly. Parents even happier. I think we just need to get all our cities now back on their feet, and we have some great cities in this country. And London is the financial hub, the capital of our country, and we really need to get it back up and running. And the sooner we start working on that one, the better.
If you take some gorgeous pictures on your Instagram page of London, I have to say, ask you to look at them. They're beautiful, really nice. Shows you how much you love London.
I know, honestly, Stephen, it drives my husband nuts. It's like, oh God, not another picture of London. And obviously, I'm very, very lucky enough to live in the East End. And I live, by the River Thames, so I'm lucky enough to go for walks and strolls and go running along the banks of the Thames, which is a beautiful river. And I do like the big open skies you get, but it's like, oh my God, it's another sunrise. It's like, yeah, but they're lovely. People like sunrises.
Quite cheer me up.
Yeah, well, quite. I'm married to the only man, Stephen, that thinks waterfalls and sunrises are boring. I mean, go figure how I married him. How can you hate waterfalls? It's like hating rainbows.
So, and obviously on that front, there, what you're watching on the telly at the moment here, Dawn?
Well, Aston, unfortunately, I have actually watched a certain royal interview 3 times now, including Live America. Mainly I'm watching football. Mainly I'm watching West Ham.
Yeah.
We were on telly last night. We won. Woohoo! We're doing really well. So I'm a big football fan, a big sports fan, because I think sport is so important, and especially football for the British psyche. I mean, you see Rangers up in Scotland winning their first title for the first time in 10 years. And, the fans sort of like, the sheer joy and enthusiasm of them celebrating that. And then, of course, you have Nicola Sturgeon going, stay home, killing people.
Hey.
Yeah, well, sorry, swear word. But I think
the problem they've done.
the joy of watching sport on TV, whatever your particular sport is.
No matter what you're telling me, you're becoming a bit of a celebrity, whether you like it or not.
No, Stephen, I am so not.
No, sorry. You're everywhere, Dawn. And so there's a danger of you slipping into things like I'm a celebrity or being asked to at the very least. Which one would you go into? I can see you in the jungle, actually. On the castle, that is.
It's not going to be Come Dine With Me or any of the cooking shows on the ground that I burn tea. I mean, I am the world's worst in the kitchen. So push comes to shove. I think if someone held a gun to my head, I'd probably do I'm a celebrity because I like the outdoor stuff. I'm quite sporty. So, I can't dance for toffee, so Strictly Come Dancing is completely out the window. I'd probably go and do I'm a celebrity if they were really, really desperate and they'd run out of celebrities.
I think you'd be really good on that.
Stephen, you just see me in a white bikini. Come on, admit it.
White bikini being eaten by rats. Who would you like to play you in a movie?
Oh my golly gosh!
I'd like to see if they did the story of you. I mean, it was quite a good story. Female legends that lasted a long time, and they came out.
You know what? I always used to say whenever we were playing this game, when you're out in the pub and you're all. Remember pubs? Does anyone remember pubs? Places where you used to go and have fun and drink alcohol. Whenever you're having this sort of drunken conversation in the pub, I would always go for someone like Sigourney Weaver.
Oh yeah, she's great.
Great choice.
Do you watch The Agent on Netflix?
I'm afraid I haven't. No, I do have
Have to
Netflix,
watch it.
but it's
You
like
have to
time.
watch it. Sigourney Weaver's in one of the episodes. She's hilarious in it. Well worth watching.
Yeah, I love the whole. I mean, I sort of like fell in love with her a bit on the Alien films when she was a real strong, feisty woman, a bit kick-assy, So yeah, I'll go for Sigourney, I think.
That'd be brilliant. Well, listen, it's been absolutely fantastic having you on. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, gentlemen. It's been brilliant fun.
How can people find you, Dawn, before you go for today?
Well, I'm on Twitter at Dawn Neesom, and Neesom is spelled unlike Liam with an M at the end, so Neesom, and Dawn is normal Dawn. So at Dawn Neesom. I mean, you please tweet me. I love Twitter now.
Yeah.
Just tell about
that's Sigourney Weaver's where aliens go. Twitter.
Thanks, Dawn.
Thank you so much, boys.
Today, Dawn.